welcome back to another month of outdoor lit chicks. Da, da, da. This is a little bit more.
What creatures are out here this time?
A lot of lizards. Because we're in my backyard. It's a little bit more contained.
Yes.
So at least it's not like the actual outdoors like we were last time.
No gender reveals also.
No lawn well, actually here there might be lawnmowers.
True.
True. No snakes, no vampires, no weird guys staring at us while we record.
Yeah, true.
But it's fine.
A lot more reclusive and I like it. You know, very private.
Actually. But this month we read On the Island. And because we wanted to go with a beach read, but this ended up being like a very dramatic.
It was like not what we were expecting.
No, not at all.
At all.
I like sort of. I was like, okay, stranded on an island. Obviously, things are gonna happen. Maybe a little bit of some Blue Lagoon vibes.
You think of more of a glamorous stranded on the island for some reason, and you're like sexy stranded on the island. Yes, give it to me. This was not that.
No, not at all.
It was very realistic.
I was just like, wow, this is getting serious. Like, oh my god, they're gonna die.
Yes.
Like, yeah. And she was very descriptive with the way she would describe things.
Everything.
Like the
running out of water,
starvation.
Yeah, like showing skin and bones.
Yes.
And
diarrhea.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like this is, like Carla said, not sexy at all.
It was a good surprise though.
Yeah,
it was definitely, we weren't expecting.
Yes. It was a very compelling read, I will say that. But in this book, On the Island, we have Anna, who is a 10th grade teacher. And she's, for the summer, going to be tutoring a student that she's never met him before, but it was like a family that hired her to tutor him because he had gotten sick, he had gotten cancer, but he's in recovery now, but he missed a lot of high school. He missed a lot of his, like, I think 10th or 11th grade year, something like that.
The second and third quarter of it, he had missed it.
Something like that, so he needed to catch up during summer break, which is where Anna comes in. The thing is, the family was going to go on vacation to somewhere in Southeast Asia. The Maldives, yeah. I was like, where are they going?
Those beautiful islands.
Yeah, that I'm never going to go to now.
Pretty much.
But they go, so they're going on vacation, so the whole thing was that the tutor has to go with them. So Anna was like, okay, fine, I'll go with them. So Anna, back home, they're from Chicago. She has a boyfriend that they've been together for like 10 years. She's ready to go to the next step, but he's not really like wanting to do the next step. Drops off the airport. She's like, I think I need to take this time to just think about where we're going and whatnot. Anyway, so on the plane, she meets the whole family already went ahead of time to the island. So Maldives. So see how unrefined I am. And so the TJ wanted to go later because he wanted to go to a party that his friends were having.
He wanted to have a little bit of high school fun before going off and being stuck with his family.
Exactly, even if it is in a tropical.
I know, how ungrateful. Like,
I
know. Like, take you to a Maldives and you don't want to go with them.
Like, it's a vacation.
I know, whatever.
I don't know. But, so then they meet in the airport, and then they have to take a bunch of planes. You know, plane here, stop, plane here, and stop, because it's like an island, like very, very far away. So at one point they get stuck. There's like a storm. They get stuck. They can't fly out, and then a lot of the pilots aren't even available anyways. Now, it's not until the next day that this like random pilot is available, and he's like, yeah, I can take you to the island, it's fine or whatever. But the thing is, in the actual flight is that they take off in the plane. It's like one of those small
private jets, seaplanes,
something like that. And then, but then halfway through the flight, the pilot starts to have a heart attack.
Oh my god.
And like, you know what? I gotta give it to Anna though. She's like super intelligent.
Like,
she's like survival. She knows like common knowledge.
She keeps her calm. She's like, TJ, I think the pilot's having a heart attack.
I would be like,
let's buckle up. Like, really calm. I would be like, oh my god.
No, but yeah,
she keeps her cool.
Super
she
calm.
Keeps her cool.
She's and then she's like about to give him CPR or like, you know, like I'm like, dang, like what kind of training does she get? Because she's like really. I was like, no, that also made me think of the fact, I was like, I probably wouldn't survive on a deserted island because I didn't know any of that stuff that they talked about.
Those like common facts.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I'm like, that's a common fact?
I was like, I don't know.
What kind of common person knows this?
I feel like if anything, we should at least, we live in Florida with all these weird things that happen.
It's crazy out here and we don't know.
No, we would not survive.
We need a lesson in basic survival skills.
What are the Girl Scouts? So the pilot's having a heart attack, and then he dies while he's like, the plane is going down, and then thankfully they put on their life vest, but like they basically crash in the ocean. Like the plane goes apart. And then
on the chain of those islands, you know, there's like over 1,000 islands.
Like thousands of islands. So
it's somewhere in between those thousands of islands that it starts crashing.
Yes, and then they're in the middle of the ocean. Then it seems like Anna got a concussion, so she faints. So TJ has to like swim. Finally finds an island. They swim into the island, but they realize that the island is uninhabited. It's a deserted island. It's just deserted island. Like Carla said, one of the random islands in that area. Pretty much, I think like at one point one plane passes by like a couple of days later, and it's probably looking for them because why else would there be a plane there? But they slowly, as the weeks go by, they are losing hope. They know that nobody's gonna find them. Like at that point, like after, like they have her planner washes up, and that's how they're keeping track of their days. After I think like a month, they're like, they lose hope. They lose hope. No one's
They're like,
for
what
them.
we're gonna do is not look out to be saved. Let's focus on surviving now. Let's focus on collecting rainwater. Let's focus on learning how to fish. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on what's this thing? Is this a fruit? Let's try this out because we gotta survive. Survive.
Correct. Yeah. So that's pretty much the majority of the book. It's just them figuring out how to just survive and somewhat make some sort of life for them on this island.
The details are very real, very human, very real. They're not like super human and like that movie magic that something appears and now you can scramble eggs.
Here's a
kind of thing. You know, like
here's a spatula.
Yeah, no, like it's very real. They're using sticks and twigs and rocks and they find coconuts. They can't get into them. Like it's very real. The struggle is real. Very real.
Oh, 100%. And that's pretty much how it is through the majority of the book. I won't give away like what happens in the end, but another major factor is their age, and it's a boy and it's a man and a woman on an island.
He's 17, and then she's 30.
She's 30.
And then years go by.
Years go by. They
on the island.
She does her best. Like she understands the dynamic between them. But the thing is, on this island, the dynamic does change.
Of course,
they're equals at this point because they are just. They're there. They're both trying to do the same thing. They have to take care of each other.
They bring something to the table as well. Like he's really good at fishing. She's really good at doing this and that and this and that. You know, kind of thing. So it's exactly like I said. They're equals. So the dynamic then changes.
Yes.
And he starts to mature and starts building stuff and is on the roof and she starts seeing the chiseled muscles on the city. And she's like, "Wait, you're all of a sudden 19?"
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Not to spoil but it does eventually a relationship does blossom between
That's the
them.
romance aspect of this book.
Because they're there, they learn to depend on each other, not just as like friends and as a teacher and student, but as again equals, because they're there. They have there's nothing they're governing them pretty much. So once he does turn 18, and even a little bit after that, like it's not until later when they actually legitimately have a routine of how they're going about their days on the island, where eventually something happens. They're like, hey, this is the culmination of all these things, and eventually they do become like in a relationship.
Yes, it's safe to say that.
And the thing is, people do find comfort in that. Like people do find comfort in other people, and touching.
And we have to say that nothing before he was legal happened. She always looked at him as just somebody that she had to nurture in a way, take care of in a way, even though he was extremely self-sufficient because of him going through the cancer. He already had a very grown-up brain. So she didn't have to worry to baby him, but she was always there like, I'm supposed to kind of like watch over you. And eventually he caught up to that, like mentally wise, and so that's when the dynamic changes yet again between them.
Yes, yeah. So and I think also because they do take care of each other, and they switch on and off. Like things happen where he has to be the one to take care of her.
It's exactly like you said, they become equals.
And so the romance definitely does blossom.
Yes.
It does get, you know, kind of, I mean, I don't know how to put this in a delicate way, but like they just become a couple. They become a couple, and then their survival now becomes them, like how they're like a unit now, and then that's how their days go by. It's like, if you know, that's
agreed.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna say anything about what happens afterwards because it is a very compelling read.
It is very. It's hard to put down.
It's hard to put down. I had to know what happened. I was like, will they ever get off this island? Or are they gonna live here forever? Are they gonna build some new society and start procreating here? Like, what happens? So highly recommend to read this because you need to know what happens.
It's actually a good beach read. I think if you're one of those avid readers, you'd be able to finish it while you're laying out.
All right, so sexy factor.
So, okay, throughout the book, there's not a lot, but with the moments that are very sensual, I would think. Like, they're very
not graphic.
No, not graphic.
Nothing's described, but you definitely know it happens.
I would say it adds like an element of comfort, like you had mentioned earlier. Exactly, that was so on point, because it's like they're so lonely that once it starts happening, you're like, okay, good, they can find comfort in each other. There's solace in that, and in the touching and the kissing. You're like, oh yay, you know, something good out of all that craziness is happening.
Like, what else? Like, I mean, they even mention it a few times in the book. They're like, I don't think I would have survived if you weren't here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so masculinity factor.
Probably her ex-boyfriend was the only one.
Oh yeah, her ex-boyfriend that she was with for like 10 years. He couldn't decide whether he wanted to be with her or not. Like, he was with her because it was comfortable.
Yes.
Like, you know, when you're just comfortable in your situation, but he didn't want to marry her, but then he didn't want to break up. He didn't know if he wanted to have kids. You know, like, there's a lot of these things. And she was at the point of, not to say that you don't want kids, that's fine.
That's fine.
Like, but just say it. Like, hey, I don't want kids. Great, all right, fine, let's keep going with whatever we're gonna do.
We'll find enrichment in our lives any other way.
Yeah.
But her in particular, she wanted kids. She wanted marriage.
She wanted marriage. She wanted to move forward. You know, she was a very accomplished teacher. You know, she had a really good career. She was ready for, like, what her next step would be.
Yes.
And so he was probably the only one that was toxic in the book.
Yeah. Because as for TJ, we meet him as a teen, and then he grows into who he becomes. So, like, his mistakes are forgivable. I don't see it as purposely vindictive or purposely douchey.
No, I don't see it. He doesn't do anything actually that would be bad.
It's very understandable.
Yeah. There.
You don't give in to all that teenage, like, angst that you're like, I wish my friends and this. Like, it's about survival. You either grow up and survive, or
you don't.
You whine and you die.
Yeah, exactly. No. So he was very medium. He's not toxic. He's not wimpy. He was right in the center. And then movie rating. I honestly would probably, if this was a movie, it would be rated R.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens.
Yeah. Even like graphic, like when they fracture stuff, it's very graphic in that sense.
Yeah.
Not the sensual parts, but like when someone breaks a bone, like she's like, it's sticking out of the socket.
Or like when they're sick and like at one point, like they drink water that's not good, like she gets diarrhea and you know her
body's like convulsing and
or like there's this one part where, I mean, I'm trying not to give everything away, but there's another part where she gets really injured and like it's graphic.
It's very graphic.
So I would give it an R, mostly because of just the survival situation. Like the things that happen to them on the island are rated R in that sense.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, not even because of the sex scenes. When the sex scenes aren't actually, they're not graphic at all.
They're not graphic. I would describe them more sensual, you know.
Yeah.
Finding comfort in someone else's body and starting to fall in love with them, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. So, but R. Sure. Okay. So takeaways. I think the author's journey to write this book and get it published and stuff, I think that's really admirable. This is like Tracey Garvis's first book, and she really took something and made a really I could see this into a movie 100% on Netflix or whatever, Amazon Prime, it doesn't matter. I really would like to see this portrayed by actors.
and their love eventually. That's the big story behind of it all. I feel like it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I agree.
What they went through.
I just think the thing that impacted me the most in this book and what kept me reading was the survival aspect of it.
Like, that's what hooks you, because you're like, are they gonna die in this chapter?
Are they gonna make it?
Are they gonna make it?
Like,
are they gonna get rescued?
And then just the fact that he did have cancer before, and she was so scared that he would get it eventually again, because it is
he
possible.
was in remission. You know, it could come back.
Yeah, so that was something else that like kept me reading. I was like, is he gonna survive?
Oh my gosh,
something that's gonna come up again?
I just remember those nervous feelings all over again. Like, are they gonna die?
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's what hooks you, and that's what you want to keep reading to find out.
Yeah, I finished this book in 2 nights because I couldn't put it down. Because I was like, I need to know what happened.
Yeah.
But the survival aspect for sure made me realize that I know nothing about the outdoors.
Oh, same,
that I would not survive.
Same.
I would be like, how do I eat this fish?
Where do I collect water? Do I stay like this for 3 days straight?
So, it made me realize that I'm like, wow, I need to learn more things about outdoors in case
you're so right.
Something were to happen.
So, Central Florida, do you have outdoor survival teachers? We'd like to enroll in a course.
I'm gonna start looking these things up now.
Teach me how to make a fire, how to collect rainwater.
Yes, just in case.
How to make like a knife out of a tree bark or something.
Yeah. A toothbrush, you know, like I don't know. So, but very compelling read. I super highly recommend this book.
Yes.
Not because of the romance, but just because of how. I keep going back to the survival aspect. Like, I just can't get that over my head.
Yeah, that's probably the thing that you really become invested. You want them to survive, but it's like, she really puts you on the edge. You don't know if they will. You really don't know.
No.
She doesn't give a hint to a happy ending or a detriment.
No, not at all. Nothing. It's literally like day by day, going by
day.
But yeah, highly recommend.
Yes.
Let us know if you read it.
Yes.
Let us know if you freaked out like we did.
Yes.
Let us know if you're also scared by lizards like we are.
It came back out of wherever it was. Hopefully we survive this, and you'll hopefully see this on YouTube. We don't know. This might be our last message.
This might be like the Blair Witch Project. You'll find this video somewhere. Sorry, I just like leaped. All right, and this is where we sign off. We'll see you next month.
Bye. Guys.